Hey YouTube, this is Zach with Achilles Financial, and today I'm going to be talking about a different type of SPAC. This is GIG Capital 3 Inc., and they are trading under the ticker symbol on the New York Stock Exchange GIK. And this is a SPAC that is looking to take E-Lightning Motors public in the first half of this calendar year. This is another potential EV play. And this video is going to include a lot of forward-looking statements by someone who is not a financial advisor. So make sure you do your own due diligence. But I want to highlight that this company has a lot to like about it. However, I do have some concerns over the valuation. That being said, all of the EV industry is pretty overvalued, so I'm not overly concerned about it. It's just something to note. But you can see that the stock is, again, all the way up from their $10 trading line now that they've identified a target. They're rapidly approaching new all-time highs. If we go back to the summary tab here, you can see kind of they're off that all-time high of 1725, and they don't really have a lot on the options chains readily available right here. So you can see just a number of dates out here, but this is one to watch. I don't particularly like the options here. I think the shares are the better play. But this is a company with a lot of potential. And to showcase that, I'm going to kind of talk about some of the information included in their investor release. So let's take a look at it. So what is Lightning E-Motors? And as you can see, there is a number of different items that they are included in. The key business that they operate in is really going to be based around the electrification of the delivery service industry. And they have a lot going on in that particular world, mainly midline trucks. So what we're looking at here, again, you can kind of see the vans right here in terms of who they're partnered with, which is via Ford. That's one of their big partners, and they help electrify these vans. The big thing that I want to be looking at is you can see they've got cargo trucks, but also buses that they help to power. That is their big market push, especially the truck right here. And again, this is kind of their mid-tier market that they are actively going after. So some of the clients that they're actively targeting include companies such as Amazon. What I'm going to be looking at, you can actually go to the investors tab right here, and it'll tell you some of the different information readily available here. And I think that a lot of this is important, and we'll start and kind of go a little bit more in depth into this. The big thing is they are targeting the class 3 to 7 zero emission vehicles. So when we're talking about this item right here, what is a class 3 to 7? If you think of vehicles that are on the road today, a pickup truck is not a class 3 vehicle. Rather, what you're going to be looking at is not quite the Mack truck or the full-size semi, but rather you're going to be looking at the smaller trucks. Think FedEx, think UPS, they're brown vans that they are taking around. So that is who they are currently targeting right now. As you can see right here, the TAM, or total addressable market value, that they're expecting by 2025 is going to be a $67 billion valuation. What we're looking at is they've also have production expected at 20,000 medium duty and commercial electric vehicles by 2025. This is one thing that's super important, but we need to talk about what they're expecting next year, which is right now 2021 revenue of $63 million. This is super important. Again, we were just talking about that valuation. If they achieve revenue of $63 million in 2021, then that bodes very, very well for their current stock valuation of $400 million, because the EV industry doesn't really look at profit, it looks at sales. And total revenue, again, if you just do some quick math there, we're looking at a simple 1-to-8 ratio, and that doesn't necessarily match up with what we're seeing from the likes of like a Tesla, whose market cap is insane. Again, I do not think this company is going to be the next Tesla, but I do think that there is a lot of capability to have a similar valuation to a XPeng, to a NIO, to some of the other electrification. And I think that this company has a lot more going for it than someone like a Hyliion or a Nikola. So that's what we're looking at here. Again, you can kind of see the projected revenue of $63 million. And I am very interested to see if they're looking at a projected revenue of 350 million under 2022. So if you're a firm believer in the company, then this is a buy and hold type of scenario. So again, the numbers that somewhat worry me is how you go from 354 million from a production capability all the way up to a 1 billion. So again, this 1 billion they're looking at 2 billion here, made up of 1 billion from existing fleet customers. 2 billion in 2025 times or divided by that 20,000 right here. I don't necessarily have the same expectation here that you're going to see $2 billion of revenue coming from this particular investment, recognizing that there is still going to be a lot more involved in this industry and that they are going to be doing other services, including a subscription-based model. That is still a lot of money coming or based off of the vehicles that they're looking at right here. All that being said, there is a lot to like about them, and we're going to continue diving in. Again, you can see some of this information right here. I'm going to be going into the announcement slide deck right here, the PDF. So this is the investor presentation. I encourage you, if you are interested in the company, to go look at it. I'm going to pull out some highlights that I saw. So as we just go through here, again, you can kind of see some of the information included in here. You can see some of the companies that this group is working with. One of the companies that we are actively invested in here is the GIK's stock, which is UpHealth and Cloudbreak Health. I am actively invested in GIK's. I still think that that's a great company. I think that one is going to wait to pop off until we hear the actual date. So eagerly watching that one. And I anticipate, or I am still debating on whether or not to open up a position in GIK, but it is one that I'm actively looking at and watching because I do like what we're going to be seeing today. So what we're going to be looking at to start with, again, they've got some very exciting items here. Keep in mind whenever we're looking at investor presentations that we are going to only be showing something that is really, really exciting and good, especially something where they are actively trying to raise money for the new company. So right now what we're looking at is they do have 2 years in the industry, so they are actively working. They have vehicles in use today, and I think that that is an awesome head start. The other thing that I like is they are actively working with Ford, who does sell 1 million vehicles every year, and I think that that is, again, one of their key relationships. I don't really hold a lot of value by some of these other ones. My personal favorite is going to be that Ford. This is something that they also, though, if they can dominate the Amazon capabilities, I think there's going to be a lot of value there as well. So the big item between these two numbers you see here below of the 120 vehicles on the road, this is something that, again, this is a $400 million market cap company. If that is the case, then is this worth 120 vehicles? Are they going to be able to deliver on the 1,500 vehicles that are ordered at this point in time? So that's what we're going to be looking at. Again, the big thing that we want to figure out is, are they going to be able to make money off this, what they do today? So the big thing is going to be their analytics and commercial ZEVs. The big thing that I want to look at here is the analytics. This is the recurring revenue stream. I think the under 1% expected churn is a little lofty. The 100% attachment rate is a little lofty. I wouldn't expect either of those in a investor presentation. However, again, if they're able to produce here, if they're able to build a recurring revenue stream here, I think there's a lot of value there. The energy as a service of the charging side is going to be valuable. I don't think that this is going to be a market dominant force, but it is going to be something important for them. And again, there's never a lot of money in the financing side of things, so I am not going to pay a lot of attention to the financing side. So this is the big money maker on the left-hand side. So what we're going to be looking at here is essentially why are they a good company? And this is the conversation that they're actively having, where they are competing against these other companies that we've talked about here on the channel with Nikola, Hyliion, and XL Fleet. Again, these are a lot of really hot names in the EV industry. So that's why I really like talking about someone who actually has factories completed. Again, this is a big deal. They have the capability to actively deliver on their orders at this point in time. There is a lot down here and kind of some of the smaller language here where you have the capability to talk and have these conversations with these other companies. But the big item here is that this is a company that can deliver and can sell right now. And the other thing I really like is they do have the capability to take more market share. If they're able to do so, I think that that's going to be a huge win for them. You can see one of their competitors here is Workhorse. They have to dominate the industry, otherwise they're going to lose. So a lot of capability to do so here, but they only talk about the competitors today, and then they talk about them in the market in 2 years. I don't see any reason why someone like a Tesla, someone like a Ford could not enter and dominate this market as well. So that's something to watch. I think if they're capable of utilizing their relationship with Ford, that's really going to benefit them in the future going forward. So we're looking at that. This is the speculative part where, again, you're always going to see really awesome numbers for your company and your addressed industry. So they're saying right here that we're expected to have a huge market here for the EV industry, commercial EV as a whole, with it all the way leading out to 2040. What I want to look at is, are you going to be profitable? Are you going to be growing revenue between now and the next 3 years? And they have a compelling argument. They're talking about, hey, we're expecting to have people be 100% zero emissions for a lot of airports going forward. You're talking companies like Amazon and Google and Walmart who are saying, hey, we're going to be zero emissions, Microsoft even. And so it's interesting to see, are you going to be able to take advantage of that? The other thing I really like is we have received 120 million orders, or $1 million worth of orders in Q3 2020. So again, a lot of advantages, a lot of capabilities. I do want to address TAM is total addressable market. So we're looking at that. This is the area where they're going to be able to say, this is why you should buy us, is because look at the money that we are saving you on a total monthly basis. Again, even inclusive of grants, a $2,000 savings is a huge deal. Without those grants, a $500 again per month, so you're looking at $6,000 per year, really more than that, $6,600 per year. And then you're also going to be multiplying that by however many vehicles you have, is a big deal. So I really like, again, everything here is going to be very positive driven, but what I really want to do is talk about, well, are they going to be able to make money off of this? And this is one of the areas here that I have on the screen, is they're talking about utilizing their data to make sure that you're able to stay on their platform. I think that this is good. It makes customers sticky. And I think that this is going to be able to benefit because the data is a huge factor of business today. And so if you're able to get every single vehicle paying an additional $500 per year, then it just keeps adding up. And I think that that's going to be the advantage going forward. Lastly, I want to talk about the fact that they have some key supply chain partners. They're actively working with Ford, which I think is the huge win for them. And if they can continue to utilize this going forward, then they're going to continue to make a lot of money. And there's more in the presentation. There wasn't a lot that I wanted to dive into for this conversation, but I think that this is a lot of projected growth. Again, you can see some of those numbers here. But the big thing is this is a growing company that has a product, it has sales, it has orders with the capability to deliver on those orders. Is it a worthwhile speculative investment? It's definitely one that I'm going to consider. Again, if I do take a position here, it'll be within the next 2 weeks. However, one thing that I want to look at is there going to be any additional news surrounding their capability to deliver on this info? So what I'm really looking to do is make sure that I am able to have a conversation with someone who knows more than I do, whether that is an analyst in the industry or even some of my Twitter conversations. But this is a stock that I think does have the capability to be a long-term investment or even maybe gets bought out. So something to look at, something to check out. Feel free to check out their website and you can go more in depth into this presentation. as well as let me know in the comments below your thoughts on GIK, soon to be Lightning E-motors. So if you want to know when we're buying, when we're selling, check out the Discord. That'll be in the description below. And if you found this content helpful, please leave a like and subscribe. Thanks, everyone. Talk to you later. Bye.